And we're also going to be doing shoulders for forward shoulder posture. We're also going to be doing stuff for the hips, the hamstrings, and probably a little bit of the calves if you want. And also, we're going to be doing a technique that will help with Dowager's hump. Everybody know what Dowager's hump is when you get, what happens when your head gets forward, what happens to your head posture when it gets forward, it kind of tilts back, right? Your shoulders get, and you get this little hump right back there. You usually find this on older folks, but that's because they've been forward for so long, you know, you get this, and then the shoulders there, and you get that little hump back there. And so there's a couple techniques that we use to help facilitate that, moving those, closing those vertebrae back, because what happens, they get open, stuck open, and they won't close too well. So you're not going to make a lot of effects on that unless somebody is coming to you regular and slowly little by little, just like it happened little by little. The table is?
Whoa,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
You sat down, when you sat down, the pad went like this.
It's right here. It's broken.
Yeah.
That's what was
Not
crying.
good.
Okay.
That's why I didn't feel comfortable with the table on there.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just some myofascia release techniques that I do in the back. And I'll start, I'm also going to do some things where what happens when we get forward like that, these muscles in the back get real weak, right? So a couple things. I'm just going to start out with first, actually, a lot of times I like to go in here and just grab tissue and try to stretch it. This is the actual kind of stretching and moving that fascia. And then I'll get in here, go on the sides, and just grabbing tissue to get it more mobile, all that. Okay, so this is stuff that you've probably done before. Now go into the shoulders, see if they've got some tight traps. She's pretty good. And so the whole, now I want to clear out the lamina groove. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here, right on the transverse processes, with the spinous process up between my fingers. And I'm going to get in here and I'm going to start going back. And I can feel this is really tight. And you probably feel this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm going right in that groove. And I want to create some space in that groove. What happens is it gets real covered over by all the connective tissue. Especially if you're not moving this way or extending and flexing, it starts getting real thick around that whole spine. We talked about the fuzz. Well, up here around the C7, T1 doesn't get a lot of movement. Down here, this doesn't get a lot of movement, so those areas a lot of times are very restricted. And joints, all these are joints, and they should be pretty mobile. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to feel that I can get into that groove, and her groove is like pretty solid. It's not good. You feel all this?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
How
it's,
painful is that? It's probably about an 8.
yeah. So
Pretty rough.
right here, she's got a little bit of forward head posture. I can feel it. So I'm going right in, up around T7 here. And what I'm going to have you do is I want you to raise your head up and look at me. And I'm going to push that vertebrae back and then back down. Okay, back down. Good. And I'm going to hold them there. I'm not going to let them come back. Okay, I want you to do it one more time. 3, 2, back down. Okay. Now I'm going to go up to the next segment. I want you to do it again. 3, 2, 1. That's awesome, Ty. You don't feel that, do you?
Oh, yeah. Right. So how many vertebrae would you do that with?
Oh,
Just
with
do
her?
2 or 3?
Yeah, I'm going to walk her down to about right here,
Okay.
because that's where it's all jammed together. Now the other thing probably we're talking about here is a little forward shoulder posture. So what I'm going to do is, are you okay here?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going up under the shoulder, and I'm going to grab I'm going to get right on the scapula. Okay? Now I want you just about 20% effort, take that shoulder to the table. 3, 2, 1, let it go. Good. Do it again. 3, 2, 1, relax it. And then one more time. 3, 2, 1, let it go. You feel that any? Yeah. So I would do both shoulders. And then I'm going to go in and stimulate those rhomboids, those traps. Okay, give me pull down. 3, 2, 1, let it go. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring that. What happens over a period of time, this scapula wants to migrate out that way because it's going forward, right? And I'm trying to bring it back here and take it down that way, bring it back where it should be. So, and okay, give me another pull. 3, 2, 1, let it go. And do it again. 3, 2, 1, breathe. Yeah. Feel that out. Okay, so now to stimulate these rhomboids so that I create some tonus. This is the technique where we stimulate the muscle spindles. And so I get in here and I'm going to trap the skin with my soft fist here, and I'm putting these on stretch because I'm making this come out this way, stretching these rhomboids. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to stimulate these guys. And it's a fast motion. I'm going to go all the way around this. This hurt quite a bit?
A little bit.
You're okay?
Yeah.
And I'm going to stimulate all these guys. And you want to do this for a while. And this will make it feel a lot different when I get done. So I'm just moving that tissue
So
around.
you're not moving your fist off her skin at all?
No,
It's staying?
well, I'll
Just
slide around, but
friction.
then I grab again.
Okay.
Okay? I'm moving her skin and stimulating all that tissue. And now I can get down here in the traps, stimulate that. Good. And we'll run to the other side. Since I'm right-handed, I'm going to stay over here and use my right hand because I can feel it better. Left hand is not quite as coordinated. So I'm just going to go in there, and I like to come close to the vertebra there, around those traps, and right into those rhomboids. You feel these too? Yeah. Now I'm going to go back in here, and I'm coming down through this, all these lats, rectors, and pushing them. What happens a lot of times too, if you get somebody with a little kyphosis, any place where you have the spine coming out like that, if it's coming out, then what we want to do is we want to move this tissue lateral to medial to get it back down. Okay. The other thing I'll do is I'll grab a lot of tissue like this, and I'll have you push your shoulders into the table. Push your shoulders into the table. There you go. 3, 2, 1, and relax it. And that way I'll get that spine to go back down. If you got somebody with a little kyphosis from the forward shoulder, it kind of makes that spine pop out. If I got somebody with flat back, where it doesn't have a lot of lordosis here, then I want this spine to go back down, right? So if I want the spine to go back down, I'm going to once again take tissue medial or lateral to medial. If I've got too much lordosis here, this is what we call sway back, then I'm going to take from the lamina groove and move medial to lateral. So just kind of getting in there. Now, to do some of that techniques, you might have to get on skin. If you want to try to get a fascial hook right in here, and you want to move that tissue out. And you know what I mean when I say fascial hook. Okay. So you're going to try to push that fascia out of the way. Okay. So you can see very little of these techniques we use any kind of lotion or anything like that. Okay, so now because she's got a little forward head posture, we're still trying to work with that. I'm going to show you a tie technique that I use. And to do this, and that some of my ATs over at ISU the females sometimes don't want to do this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to put my knees on your hamstrings. This is the best thing to do if you're working with a football player, which you probably will be when we go to ISU. There's some football players who are going to be in training, so they'll be signing up to get some work done. To work these hamstrings, getting your knees on them is the best thing because you're not going to do a whole bunch, by pushing on them. So anyway, I'm going to come up here. Let's see this table. Hopefully this table will handle us. Okay, and I'm just going to bring my knees right here. And then I kind of like to go forward. This is a nice little stretch right on that spine. Oh yeah, I heard that. Oh yeah. Good. And I'm going to walk right around the heel of my palm on that lamina or the transverse processes of the spine. Walking all the way up. Just kind of loosening all this up, getting a little bit more mobile. And I'll come down here right on the sacrum and push it back. Usually feels pretty good. Yeah. Okay. So now, to help with that forward shoulder, I'm going to have you grab my wrist. I'm going to externally rotate those shoulders. No, you don't have to. I want you to relax. Just hold on my shoulders. My wrist. Now I should take a nice deep breath. And I'm just going to give a little pull. I just want you to relax. And now I'm opening those shoulders. Okay. And I want you to breathe. Breathing. Breathing. Good. I want you to relax. Okay. Back. Walk the spine. All the way up. Good. And I like to kind of get these hands separated. I'm really trying to make this spine move. Good. I'm going to grab my wrist again. Nice relaxed shoulders. I'm going to rotate. Nice big deep breath. And I'm just leaning back. Once you breathe, breathe, keep breathing. Yeah, keep the shoulders. Relax.
Does that hurt?
A little bit.
Yeah, probably, you're going to have, okay, and then of course, if I was going to work hamstrings, I'd have her put her arms on the side. I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to just wobble around on these hamstrings.
Oh, you're kind of hurting the left one.
Yeah, she's got a bad
knee. Okay, so the closer I get to the knee, too, the more it could be tendon. Because what happens when we get down here to the knee? More connective tissue, less blood flow. Okay? So, you want to try those?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because there's a whole bunch more.
What was that one doing? What was the purpose?
The purpose of is getting the shoulders back.